Hello, and welcome to my four-step to weight loss using life coaching. My name is Don Pemberton, and I am the first responder life coach. What I'd like for you to do is imagine for a second. If your station is anything like mine, there's a 50-50 chance that when you walk through the door in the morning, there are donuts, cookies, leftover chocolates, goodies that were randomly dropped off and sitting on the counter greeting your arrival. Imagine being the person that doesn't stop and grab a goodie on the way in. Imagine being the person who doesn't stop for a 44-ounce soda or being the only one at the table not to have seconds for dinner or dessert, and being perfectly fine with that. Let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Don Pemberton, and I am a 22-year veteran of emergency services. Picture on the left there is me and my dad. My dad is the reason that I became a fireman. He was a volunteer firefighter, and I thought it was the coolest thing when he would get a page and he would go to training and he would leave and go do some pretty amazing things as a volunteer firefighter. As soon as I graduated high school, I became a volunteer firefighter. I went through the community college process and became a firefighter 1 and an EMT, got my associate's degree, and went off to paramedic school. Once I was a paramedic, I worked as a paramedic in Santa Clara County at American Medical Response, and learned a lot in a really short period of time. After being a paramedic for about 3 years on a busy 911 system, I joined the fire service. I had the opportunity to go back and to work for the volunteer fire department that I was originally working for. And I worked there for about a year until another opportunity presented itself in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. And that fire department was the Alameda Fire Department, and I was there for about 4.5 years. On the right there on the picture, you see that's me, my 3 daughters, and my wife. My wife's mom bought a home in southern Utah, and we fell in love with the southern Utah area. And I applied for jobs in this area, and I got hired in the Las Vegas Valley as a firefighter paramedic, and I've been working there for about 12 years. My rank is firefighter paramedic. I'm assigned to our specialized hazardous materials station, and I'm also a paramedic preceptor. I was introduced to life coaching by my wife about 4 years ago. She listened to a woman named Jody Moore, and Jody Moore is a life coach that has practiced under Brooke Castillo. And about 4 months ago, I decided to take the plunge and become a first responder or a certified life coach to specialize with first responders. My goal is to serve first responders to help them to show up 100% at home and as they do and at work. As a result of this program, I will teach you how to lose weight safely and effectively through the teachings of life coaching. This process will be difficult, I promise you, but these results can last you a lifetime and completely change the way you feel about food and about yourself. If we don't address both the physical and emotional parts of weight loss, the improvements that you see will only be temporary, and you will no longer use food to solve for your emotional challenges. And ultimately, you will have the health and the body that you can be proud of. My strategy to help first responders to lose weight is a 4-step process. First, I will assist you in picking a protocol. A protocol is a food plan that you create. You'll decide what you are going to eat, when you're going to eat it, and what you're not going to eat. Your second step is you're going to decide in advance based on your protocol, what specifically will you be eating and when. The next step is you will use either a chart or an app that I suggest to document your daily activities. This is probably the most difficult process, but it also most rewarding. This process by itself can be a diet all by itself. And finally, what makes my program different is that you will get support. I am a life coach that is going through certification, and I take great pride in assisting first responders. The most important tool you have when it comes to changing your behavior is your thinking. And as a life coach, I can assist you in seeing how your thinking creates your results. When we stand on a scale, the number that is given is simply the amount of mass that our body is acting upon the gravitational force of the earth. It's our thoughts about that number that create the feeling about the weight that we see on the scale. And for each of us, it's different. Take for a moment, for example, what if you looked down at the scale and you saw 180 pounds or 200 pounds, 215, 250, any number you want to pick. Each one of those weights creates a different set of thoughts and feelings and actions based on that number. We have the number that's on our scale that we look down and we see currently. And then we have an ideal weight in our head. If the number on the scale is higher or significantly higher than the number we have as our ideal weight, then we simply have consumed more food represented as calories than our body needed for daily physical activity. There's three different states that we can be eating in. We can be overeating, eating, or undereating. Overeating is simply eating more than what our bodies need to fuel us for a given day. Undereating is consuming fewer calories than we need in a given day. And simply eating is consuming the same amount and the right kinds of calories that our bodies need to sustain itself in a given period, resulting in no weight change at all. It's a simple fact. We are heavier than we want to be simply because we overeat. The question is, why do we overeat? And it comes down to two things. It's either over desire or over hunger. Let's first talk about over desire. As first responders, we've come to believe it's perfectly normal to eat 3 meals a day, donuts, snacks, and desserts for entertainment, and as a way to avoid pain, seek pleasure, or it has just become an unconscious habit. Food provides us the reward in the form of serotonin, dopamine, and or desire. Dopamine creates more desire for food. As we eat it, the flood of dopamine downregulates the receptors, perpetuating that desire. The more you do something, the more you practice, and the more the corresponding neural pathways become. The secret to losing weight is to not over-desire food. You will know when you have managed desire because you won't feel any mental deprivation when you're eating according to a clean fueling protocol. The ultimate goal is to reduce the desire for overeating. Once that's gone, there will be no need for willpower to resist overeating. Now let's discuss our overhunger. Overhunger is primarily caused by hormone imbalances. Hunger is the feeling you get when your body needs food. We all know that. When you've gotten enough to eat, you shouldn't feel hungry anymore. That's because a variety of hormones that regulate hunger. The goal is to reduce hunger so that you are only ever hungry for a small amount of food that your body truly needs. The goal is to allow your body to access the stores when you're hungry so that your body can become fat adapted. There are 3 hunger hormones that will influence weight loss. The first is leptin. Leptin is a hormone secreted by your adipose tissue into your bloodstream. The more fat on your body, the higher your blood levels of leptin. Your leptin levels also increase with food intake. Increased leptin triggers hunger in the hypothalamus to reduce hunger. Insulin is a storage hormone. When you have elevated insulin in your body, the body cannot use fat as fuel. Ghrelin is a hormone produced by the stomach and small intestine. When your stomach is empty, like leptin, it also works on the hypothalamus. But instead of suppressing hunger, it increases hunger. The goal is to keep your insulin as low as possible. Insulin rises every time we eat. Insulin drops when we're not eating. Insulin is artificially raised when we eat sugar and flour. Insulin is released in response to any large amount of glucose in the blood. Liquid sugar in soda is one of the main culprits of excess insulin. When our hormones rebalance, so does our hunger.